Not low stress by nature? You're in the right place. Welcome to your High Vibe Tribe, where I'll help you get low stress by habit. I'm your host, Nithya Karia, helping you reduce your stress, reclaim your joy, and live a life you love, all with just 5 simple habits. This week, I am exploring the idea of a love-hate life. Now, for a lot of us, it may not be that extreme. But what am I talking about? I'm talking about an idea that feels like I can have a life I love without loving the life I'm living. So let's break that down. You can have a life that you love. You probably have a lot of things that you have worked hard to create in your life, to bring into your life and to maintain in your life. Maybe that's family. It's a healthy marriage, it's work that you love, it's serving your family, your community, however it looks like for you. There are pieces that you actively and purposely bring into your life. But sometimes the things that are meant to bring you joy deplete you instead. And so the life that you live feels difficult. It feels challenging, it feels draining. And maybe you don't hate it every day. Maybe there are moments that you do experience the joy of your life. But for a lot of us, we go through life and everything feels like a to-do list, like something that needs to be doing, something that needs to be done. Now, when I reached a point in my life that is the way that I saw my life, my children, especially when they were small, they needed feeding, they needed bathing, they needed sleep management, they needed me. And I needed a list, I needed a schedule, I needed a plan to give myself the security that I needed to know that things were going to get done, that they would run smoothly as possible. But essentially, I needed that feeling of control in my life. But what happened was that there was a point where the control, the list, the organization of my life and getting it all done actually consumed the greater portion of my life. So it didn't really feel like I was living and enjoying my kids. It was like these in-between moments between the doing. I wasn't able to live into them, right? I was always jumping to the next thing. Because in my mind, if I wasn't the person worrying about it or managing it, who was? So this idea of the love-hate life, it can snowball for us and it can just consume all of the different parts of our lives, our personal life, our professional life, that feeling of balancing the two. But there is a way out. And again, I say this because I've lived it, that I am not necessarily low stress by nature, but I am low stress by habit. So here are 3 things that I did, 3 go-to steps that really began to transform my experience. So here's the first one, get aware. I started by reading my own fuel gauge. When I'm feeling low or depleted in any way, I know I'm in stress mode. I know the thoughts and the decisions that follow are not my best. So pausing to recognize that keeps me from making choices that I regret. It helps me be present. And even if I'm busy, it helps me still feel like I was in the moment. Number 2 is to stay consistent. Not just with getting things done for other people or in the caring and the doing and the pouring into someone else, but really into the care of myself. I do 4 things daily, and I call them these GEMS, G-E-M-S, something for growth, enjoyment, movement, and sleep. And consistently doing these small steps every day lets me fill my own tank so I'm not waiting around for someone else to make me feel good. And when my day gets difficult or challenges pop up, I have a reserve so I'm not working from a depleted place. Right? So often we commit to doing things, and what drives us, what motivates us, is this feeling that we need something from someone else, right? But the truth is that you don't get to keep what you don't give yourself. So all of the compliments, the promotions, the worthiness, all of that, the praise, they don't mean a thing if you don't recognize your own value, gifts, and contributions, and realize that you can actually offer so much of what you're looking for and working towards, even a sense of control. You can offer that to yourself. And here's the third: stop living relatively. There was a point in my life where I compared myself very conveniently. I would look at moms that had more time, more energy, more money, and I would say, oh, I'm not doing the things that she's doing. Then I would look at a woman who has been able to, really pour herself into her career and her work and, really fuel her ambition. And then I would look at her and say, gosh, I didn't do that either. And this picking and choosing that we do in life, this way that we compare ourselves to anyone and everyone, conveniently making ourselves never enough. It has to stop, and it gets to stop, right? So when we stop living relative to others, we actually get to see our own desires, our own path, our own progress. So I make sure that I stay out of that guilt, comparison, judgment cycle by reflecting with curiosity instead of criticism. Stress triggers a survival instinct when what you want is a solution instinct. If I look around, instead of comparing, I can actually look around and get inspired. Say, ooh, what's that person doing? Maybe that's something I could do in my life. The truth is, I am faster at growing into the person I want to be, into the life I want to have, into the feelings that I want to experience when I have self-compassion for my human moments. And I actually intentionally create I am beliefs for who I want to be and how I want to show up. And that's it. It's actually as simple as that. It's the easiest way to de-stress that you'll ever see, because it doesn't require more doing. It requires you to start doing something different, not more. That's all for this episode. I'm sending all my love and gratitude, and I'll see you next week. Stay high vibe, my friend.